Yeah, continue it up at Waklow chapter 73. Hide and rise. Last one night, while sitting in meditation on Vunto Peak, the Buddha opened his eyes to see a man half concealed behind a nearby tree. The Buddha called to him. Beneath the bright moonlight, the man came for work. Let us walk at the Buddha's feet and would protect himself as if making an offering. The Buddha asked, "Who are you and why have you come here?" The man exclaimed, "Allow me to bow before you, teacher Gautama. I was ordered to come and kill you, but I cannot do it. I write this work in my two hands more than 10 times while you were meditating, but I was unable to take even one step toward you. I cannot kill you, but now I am afraid that my master will kill me. I was trying to decide what to do when you called to me. Allow me to bow before you." The Buddha asked, "Who gave you order to come to kill the Tathagata? I dare not tell you my master name." "Very well, you need not tell me his name, but what did he tell you to do?" "Master, he told me which path to climb up the mountain, and he showed me a different path to return by after completing my mission." "Do you have wife and children?" The man exclaimed, "Teacher Gautama, I was ordered to kill you, but I cannot do it." "No, teacher, I am not yet married. I have only an aged mother." "Then listen to me and follow my instruction carefully. Return to home at once and escape to Nam with your mother across the border into Kosala. You and your mother can find a new life there. Do not return by the road your master showed you. If you take that route, you are sure to be ambushed and kill yourself. Go now." The man prostrated himself once more and then hurried left, leaving the sword behind. The next morning, Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana came to speak with the Buddha. They said, "We believe it is time the two of us paid a visit to our other side. We want to help our brother, who our ignorance had taken a wrong turn. We regret your permission to be gone for a period of time." The Buddha looked at his two disciples and said, "Go if you feel you must, but take special care. Do all you can do to protect your own life." Just at that moment, Venerable Sariputta noted the sword lying on the ground. He looked into the Buddha's eyes as if to question to him. The Buddha nodded and said, "Yes, last night a soldier came here with order to kill the Tathagata, but Tathagata had offered him guidance instead. Leave the sword there. When Jivaka calls, I will ask him to dispose of it." Moggallana looked up and looked at Sariputta and said, "Perhaps it will be better not to leave the Buddha in such circumstances. What do you think, my brothers?" Before Sariputta could respond, the Buddha said, "Do not worry. The Tathagata is capable of avoiding any danger that arises." That afternoon, several bhikkhus from Bamboo Forest came to see the Buddha. They were so shocked they were unable to speak. Tears rolled down their cheeks. The Buddha asked them, "What is the matter? Why are you crying?" One bhikkhu wiped his tears and answered, "Lord, we had just come from Bamboo Forest. On the road, we meet brothers Sariputta and Moggallana. When we asked them where they were headed, they said they were crossing over to Gassia. We are so upset we cannot hold back our tears. More than 500 other bhikkhus have abandoned the Sangha, but we never expected your two more extreme discipline to forsake you." The Buddha smiled and comforted the bhikkhu by saying, "Bhikkhu, do not grieve. The Tathagata chose Sariputta and Moggallana. They will not betray the Sangha." Each the bhikkhu sat quietly at the Buddha's feet. The following day, Jivaka invited the Buddha for a meal offering at his mango grove. Venerable Ananda accompanied the Buddha. When they were finished eating, Jivaka informed them that Winvedi he happened to be visiting. He wondered if the Buddha would mind meeting with her. The Buddha understood that Jivaka had secretly arranged this meeting to take place, and he asked Jivaka to summon the form of wind. After she bore to the bird, the wind began to sob. The bird let her eat her bane, and then he gently said, "Please tell me everything." The wind said, "Lord, King Bimbisara is in a great danger. Arata said to plans to stab him to death. He won't allow me to bring any more food to my husband." She told the bird that when the king had first been placed under house arrest, she had been allowed to bring him food each day. Then one day the guard confiscated the tray of food she was bringing to the king before allowing her to enter his chambers. She told the bird how, even though she wept, Bimbisara had consoled her and told her that he bore no hatred toward the son for his action. He said he would rather suffer hunger than have the country plunged into the war. The next morning, the wind hissed small rice ball in her hair while also carrying a platter of food. The guard took away the platter, but the rice in her hair went undetected. She managed to feed her husband in soup a manner for several days, but when the king did not die, Arata said to order the guard to more rudely search the wind. They did cover the hidden rice, and she was no longer able to bring him food that way. 3 days later, she divided another plan. She made a batch of milk, honey, and blood which she spread over her body after bathing and brightening him herself. When the bath was dry, she put on her clothes. When the guard found no rice in her hair, they allowed her to enter the king's chamber. Once inside, she undressed and scraped off the batter to feed him. She had fed her husband twice now in this manner, but she feared she would soon be recovered and forbidden to visit him at all. The former queen began to sob again, but sat silently. After a long moment, he asked about the king's state of health, both physical and spiritual. The wind said that although he had lost a lot of weight, his weight was holding up and his spirit was more elevated. He expressed no feeling of pride nor arrogance. He continued to smile and carry on a conversation as if nothing had happened. He was using his time as a prisoner to practice meditation. There were long corridors in his chamber where he did working meditation. The room also had a window with 5 windows big. He gazed at the mountain every day for long periods, and he sit in meditation at the same window. The bird asked the wind whether or not she had been able to send news to her brother King Basenadi. She replied that she had no means to do so. The bird said he would send a bhikkhu to Savatthi and ask King Basenadi to help her any way he could. The wind thanked the Buddha. She then confided how before Prince Ajatasattu was born, the royal astrologer predicted he would betray his father. One day during her pregnancy, she was suddenly seized with a busy eagle to bite King Bimbisara's finger and shock his blood. She was frightened and shocked by her desire, unable to believe she could give rise to a terrible thought. From the time she was a little girl, she had always been afraid of the sight of blood and could not even bear to watch a fish or chicken slaughter. Yet on that day, she desired nothing more than to taste her husband's blood. She struggled against her rule with all her strength until she finally burst into tears, overcome with shame. She covered her face in her hand but would not tell the king what was disturbing her. One day not long after that, King Bimbisara accidentally cut his finger while peeling a bit of fruit. Unable to control herself, the wind grabbed his finger and shook the drop of blood. The king was startled, but he did not stop her. Then the wind collapsed to the floor and sobbed. Alarmed, the king held her up and asked her what the matter was. She told him of her strength and terrible desire. She told him how she had struggled again. It but had finally been defeated. She knew that the baby growing within her was the shock of her violent act. The royal astrologer suggested the baby be a boy or killed at birth. King Bimbisara could not agree to such a thing, and neither could the wind. When the prince was born, they named him Arasattu, which means the enemy not born. The bird advised the wind to visit her husband only once every 2 or 3 days to prevent arousing attitude suspicion. She could spend a longer time with him on the days she did visit him. He also subtracted that the king eat only a small amount of a nourishing matter at a time in order to say some for the days the wind did not visit. After offering the subtraction to the wind, the bird bid farewell to River and returned to Virtual Beak. Chapter 1. Walking to the Walk. Under the shadow of the green bamboo, the young bhikkhu Sati sat rockless, concentrating on his breath. He had been meditating for more than an hour in the bamboo forest monastery, while hundreds of other bhikkhus were also practicing under the shade of the bamboo tree on the Avatara horse. The great teacher Gautama, whom people affectionately call the bird, lived in the monastery with nearly 400 disciples. On the ground, it very peaceful, for the air surrounded the monastery, and many varieties of fresh bamboo from all over the Magadha were planted there, just a 30-minute walk north of the capital city of Raghata. The bamboo for the monastery had been given to the Buddha and his community by King Bimbisara 7 years earlier. Sati rubbed his eyes and smiled. His leg was still tender as he slowly unrolled down. 21 years old, he had been ordained 3 days earlier by the Venerable Sariputta, one of the Buddha's senior disciples. During the ordination ceremony, Swati did blow how was shelved off. Swati was very happy to be part of the Buddha community. Many bhikkhus were of noble birth, such as the Venerable Nanda, the Buddha brother, and the Vedanta, Anuruddha and Ananda. Although Swati had not yet been introduced to these men, he had noted them from afar. Even in fake robe, their noble bearing were unmistakable. It will be a long time before I can be friends with men of so noble birth, thought Sati. And yet, even though the Buddha himself was the son of a king, Sati felt no guide between them. Sati was untouchable, lower than the loudest and boring cattle according to the system of discrimination among their people. Of India at the time, for more than 10 years, he had tended water buffalo, but for 2 weeks now, he was living and practicing with monks from Okato. Everyone was very kind to him, offering his warm smile and deep bow, but he did not yet feel at ease. He suspected it might take years before he could feel completely comfortable. Suddenly, a broad smile emerged from deep within him, and he thought of Rahula. The Buddha 18-year-old son, Rahula, had been a novice in the community since the age of 10, and in just 2 weeks, Rahula and Swati had become best friends. It was Rahula who taught Swati how to follow his breath during meditation. Rahula understood the Buddha teaching well, even though he was not yet a bhikkhu. He needed to wait until he was 20 before he could receive full ordination. Sati reflected on the time just 2 weeks before when the Buddha came to Uruvela, his small village near Gaya, to invite him to become a monk. When the Buddha arrived at his home, Sati was out with his brother Rupa, taking care of the buffalo. His 2 sisters, Bala I sitting and Bhima I 12 were there, and Bala recognized the Buddha right away. She began to run out to find Sati, but the Buddha told her it wasn't necessary. He said that he and her monk traveled with him, including Rahula, would walk to the river to find her brother. It was late afternoon when they came upon Sati and Rupa dropping down the night buffalo in the Dara river. As soon as they saw the Buddha, the young men ran up the bank of the river, joined the band to form a lotus boat, and bowed deeply. You grow so much, the Buddha said, smiling warmly at Sati and his brother. Sati was speechless, seeing the Buddha's beautiful face, his warm and generous smile, and his brilliant, penetrating eye moved him to tears. The brother wore a serum robe made of baked show together in the baton of a rifle. He still walked barefoot as he had 10 years before, when Safety first met him not far from the very spot. 10 years before they had spent hours sitting together on the bank of Nedatara and beneath the shade of the body tree, just 10-minute walk from the river bank. Safety glanced at the 20 people behind the boulders and saw that they too were barefoot and clad in a bedrobe of the same color. Looking more closely, Safety saw the bird robe were hand length longer than those of the other. Standing next to the bird were novice about Safety eyes who looked at him directly and smiled. But eventually placed his hand on Safety and looked ahead and told them he had stopped by to visit on his way back to Rahagata. He said he would be happy to wait while Safety and Rupa finished packing the buffalo so they could all walk to Safety hut together. During the walk back, Burda introduced Safety and Rupak to his son Rahula, the young novice who had smiled so beautiful as Safety. Rahula was 3 years younger than Safety, but they were the same age. Rahula was a Seminary novice, but he raised more the same as the older Bhikkhus. Rahula walked between Safety and Rupak, handing his arm bone to Rupak and blessing his arm lovingly around the shoulder of his two new friends. He had heard so much about Safety and his family from his father that he felt already knew them. The brother bear in the warmth of Rahula loves. As soon as they arrived at Safety home, the Buddha invited him to join the Bhikkhu community and study the Dharma with him. 10 years earlier, when Safety had first met the Buddha, he pressed with to study with him, and the Buddha had agreed to accept Safety as a discipline. Now that Safety was 21, the Buddha had returned. He had not forgotten his promise. Rupa led the buffalo back to Rembo, the owner. The Buddha sat outside Safety hut on a small stool while the bhikkhus looked behind him. With Eden once and that look, Safety tiny home were not large enough for everyone to come inside. But I told Safety, brother, please go with the Buddha. Rupa is even stronger than you were when you began tending the buffalo. And I am quite capable of taking care of the house you have looked after us for 10 years. Now we are ready to be on your own. Sitting next to the rainwater barrel, Bhima looked up at her be sitting without saying a word. Safety looked at Bhima. She was a lovely young girl. When Safety met the Buddha, Bala was 6 years old. Rupa there and Bhima only an infant. Bala cooked for the family while Rupa played in the sand. 6 months following their father dead, their mother passed away in childbirth. Just 11 years old, Safety became the head of the household. He found a job tending water buffalo, and because Safety was a good worker, he earned enough to feed his family. He was even able to bring a buffalo meal home for little Bhima. Realizing that Safety was asking her about her feelings, Bhima smiled. She hesitated a moment and then spoke shortly. Brother, go with the Buddha. She turned her face away to hide the tears. Bhima had heard Safety mention his wish to study with Buddha so many times, and she truly wanted him to go. But now that the moment had arrived, she could not hide her sadness. The Buddha sat outside Safety's hut on a small stool. Just then, Rupak returned from the village, and hearing Bhima go with the Buddha. He understood that the time had come. He looked at Safety and said, "Yes, brother, please go with the Buddha." The whole family fell silent. Rupak looked at the Buddha and said, "Venerable sir, I hope you will permit my brother to study with you. I am old enough to care for our family." Rupak turned to Safety and holding back his tears and said, "But brother, please ask the Buddha if you can come back and visit us from time to time." The Buddha stood up and began to stroke Bhima's hair. "Children, please eat now. Tomorrow morning I will return for Safety so we can work together to Rahagata. The bhikkhu and I will rest beneath the Bodhi tree tonight." As the Buddha reached the gate, he looked back at Safety and said, "Tomorrow morning you do not need to bring anything. The clothes you are wearing are enough." That night, the 4 siblings stayed up late, like the banking father. Safety gave them his led advice on taking care of each other in the household. He embraced each of them for a long time, unable to hold back her tears. Little Bhima sobbed while her older brother held her. But then she looked up deeply and smiled at him. She didn't want Safety to feel sad. The old lamp cast a dim light, but it was enough for Safety to see her smile, and he appreciated it. Early in the next morning, Suti Brain came to say goodbye. The evening before, she had been the Buddha when she was on her way to the river bank, and he told her that Safety would be joining the order of the monks. Suta, the doctor of the village head, was 2 years older than Safety, and she too had met Gautama before he became to the Buddha. Suta gave Safety a small jar of herbal medicine to take with him. They spoke only briefly, and then the Buddha and his disciple arrived. Some brother and sister were only away to see their brother off. Gently spoke gently to each of them, encouraged them to be strong and to take care of each other. He promised that whenever he would nearby, he would stop in Uruvela to visit them. Safty's family and Suta walked with the Buddha and the Bhikkhu to the river bank, and then they yawned their bomb to say goodbye to the Buddha. The monk realized Safety. Safety was overcome with both fear and joy. They were not in his stomach. This was the first time he had ever left Uruvela. The Buddha said it would take 10 days to reach Rahata. More people traveled more quickly, but the Buddha and his Bhikkhu walked slowly and with free out. As Safety pace slowed down, he heard wired. He was wholeheartedly immersing himself in the Buddha. The dark man, the Sangha, and the were his bed. He turned around for one last leap of the only land and people he knew, and he saw Ruta and his family at more speed merging with the shadow of the forest tree. It seemed to Safety that the Buddha walked just to enjoy the walking, unconcerned about arriving anywhere at all. So it was with all the bhikkhus. No one seemed anxious or impatient to reach their destination. Each man's step was slow, balanced, and beautiful. It was as if they were taking a pleasant stroll together. No one ever be tired, and yet they covered with eternity each day. Each morning they would stop in the nearest village to beg for food. They walked along the street in a single line with the Buddha at the head. Safety came late, just behind Rahula. They walked with quiet dignity, observing each breath and each step. Once in a while, they would stop while villagers placed offering of food in their bowl. Some villagers knew by the sign of the rowing base at the bhikkhu received the food. They widely recited prayer for the people. When they finished begging, they slowly left the village to find a place beneath some tree or in a grassy meadow where they could eat. They sat in a circle and divided the food equally, carefully to fill any one bowl that was still empty. Rahula filled a jar with water from a nearby stream and respectfully carried it to the Buddha. After the Buddha joined his palm together to form what looked like a lot of flour. Rahula poured the water over the Buddha's hands and rinsed them clean. He did the same for everyone else. Coming last to Safety. As Safety did not yet have a bowl, Rahula placed half of his own food on a pressed banana leaf and gave it to his new friend. Before eating, the bhikkhu joined his palm and chant together. Then they ate in silence, mindful of its pie. When they finished, some bhikkhu practiced walking meditation, some did sitting meditation, and others took a short nap. When the halted bed of the day had bathed, they took to the road again, and they walked until it was nearly dark. The bed place to rest for the night were on the tall forest, and they walked until they found a good place. If bhikkhu had his out cushion and many set rock legs in the lotus position for half the night before stretching out the rock and going to sleep. If bhikkhu carried 2 ropes, and one he was wearing and another to yield protection against wind and cold. Safety sat in meditation like the other and learned to sleep upon the earth using a tree root far below. When Safety awoke the next morning, he saw the Buddha and many of the people already sitting peacefully in meditation, radiating profound calm and majesty. As soon as the sun rose over the horizon, if bhikkhu threw his each robe, beat up his bell, and began the day journey. Walking by day and reaching by night, it was 10th day before they reached Rahagata, the capital of Magadha. It was the first time Safety had seen a city. Whole car pressed through street line with crowded deeply. Sound and laughter echoed everywhere, but the silent procession of the bhikkhu continued as briefly as when they strolled along the wire river bank, or between country rice fields. A few of the city dwelled about to watch them, and a few recognizing the Buddha, bowed deeply to show their respect. The bhikkhu continued the calm procession until they reached the bamboo forest monastery just beyond the city. News spread quickly throughout the monastery that the Buddha had returned, and within moments, nearly 400 people gathered to welcome him back. The Buddha did not say much, but asked about everyone's well-being and meditation practice. He entreated Sati and two Sariputta, who were also Rahula's spiritual instructors. Sariputta was a novice master of bamboo forest monastery and watched over the study of nearly 50 young monks, all of whom had been in the community for less than 3 years. The above of the monastery were monks named Kondana. Rahula was asked to introduce Vati to the way of monastery life, how to work, sit, stand, read order, do working and sitting meditation, and observe his breathing. He also showed Sati how to wear the monk robe, paid for food, recite in prayer, and wash his bowl. For 3 continuous days, Sati did not leave Rahula's side so that he could learn the thing well. Rahula put his whole heart into instructing Sati. Yes, Sati knew it would take years of practicing before he would be able to do this in a relaxed and natural way. After the basic instructions, Sariputta invited Sati into his heart and explained the precept of a bhikkhu. A bhikkhu was one who left his family in order to follow the Buddha as a teacher. The Dharma, the way will lead to an awakening, and the Sangha, the community that support one along the path. A bhikkhu life was simple and humble, begging for food, help, foster humility, and was also meant to be in contact with others and help them see the way of love and understanding with the Buddha taught. 10 years earlier, beneath the Bodhi tree, Sati and his friend had listened to the Buddha speak about the path of awakening and the path of love and understanding. So it was easy for him to grasp all that Sariputta told him. Though Sariputta's face appeared serious, his eyes and smile radiated great warmth and compassion. He told Sati that there would be a reception ceremony to normally accept him into the community of bhikkhu, and he tasked Sati the work of the Sugun to decide. Sariputta himself presided over the reception ceremony. About 20 people attended. The Buddha and Rahula were there, acting to self their happiness. Sariputta silently recited Ganta and they snapped off herself the lock of Santi's hand. He then grabbed the razor to Rahula, who completely the task of future. Because he had already been taught by Rahula how to wear the robe, Sati put it on without difficulty. He bowed before the Buddha and the other bhikkhu present to express his deep gratitude. Later that morning, Sati practiced begging for the first time at an ordained bhikkhu. The monk of Bamboo Forest Monastery walked into Rahata in several small groups, and Sati was part of the group led by Sariputta. After taking just a few steps out of the monastery, Sati reminded himself that begging was a vehicle to practice the way. He observed his breathing and took each step quietly and in mindfulness. Rahula walked behind him, although he was now bhikkhu. Sati knew that he had considerably less experience than Rahula. He resolved with all his heart to nurture humility and virtue within himself. A bowl of milk. Every day, Sati went into the forest to visit Siddhartha. When he was able to go to Bunda by midday, he had learned with Siddhartha, but as the dry season continued and breakfast became more and more scarce, it was often late afternoon before he could visit his friend and teacher. Sometimes when Sati arrived, Siddhartha was sitting in meditation, and then the boy sat silently for a brief moment, then he left the forest. Not wanting to disturb his teacher meditation, but when he found Siddhartha walking slowly along the forest bank, he joined him, sometimes said in simple conversation. Sati also met Siddhartha frequently in the forest. Every day, she brought Siddhartha right born with one condiment, such as sesame, sad peanuts, or bit of curry. She also brought him milk, rice porridge, or rock candy. The children had many occasions to walk, to talk with each other at the edge of the forest while the buffalo grazed. Sometimes Jyota brought her friend Subra, a young girl, Sati wanted to bring his brother and sister to meet Siddhartha. He was sure they could cross the river at its small sailor born without difficulty. Jyota told Sati how she first met Siddhartha several months earlier, and how she had seen brought him food every day around noon. It was on a full moon day. At her mother's request, she had put on a new pin sari and carried a platter of food of how offered to the forest god. They were cake, milk, and honey. The noon sun blazed as she was near the river. She saw men lying unconcerned on the road. She put down her plate and ran to him. He was barely breathing. His eye was tightly closed. His teeth had a shaken look of someone who had not had food for a long time. From his long hair, tank of bird and rented garment showed that knew he was mountain ascetic who must have fainted from hunger. Without hesitating, she brought a cup of milk and easily it again the man lips, building a few drops of them. At first he did not respond, but then he leaped river and batted slightly, so that slowly bore milk into his mouth. He began to grin, and before long the cup was so empty. Child, please pour me a little more milk. Shulta then sailed along the riverbank to see if the man would regain consciousness. Slowly he sat up and opened his eyes. Seeing Suchata, he smiled. He pulled the end of his garment back up over his shoulder and folded his leg in a larger position. He began to breathe first steadily and then more deeply. His sitting was stable and beautiful. Thinking that he must be a mountain god, Suchata joined her bam and began to protect herself before him. But the man motioned for her to stop. Suchata sat up and the man spoke to her in a soft voice, "Child, please pour me a little more milk." Happy to hear him speak, Suchata poured another cup and he drank it all. He felt how truly nourishing it was. Less than an hour before, he thought he was about to breathe his last. Now his eyes shone and he smiled gently. Suchata asked him how he had fainted on the road. "I have been practicing meditation in the mountain, had ascetic discipline, had left my body weak. So today I decided to walk down to the village to beg for some food. But I lost all my strength getting here. Thanking to you, my life had been saved." They sat along the riverbank together and the man told Suchata about himself. He was seated there, the son of a king who reigned over the country of the Sakka clan. Suchata listened carefully and answered that I told her. "I have seen that a bush in the body cannot help one to find a bit of understanding. The body is not just an instrument, it is the temple of the spirit, the rate by which we grow to other soul. I will no longer practice self-mortification. I will go into the village, eat morning to bed for food." Suchata joined her band. "Honorable hermit, if you allow me, I will bring you food each day. There is no need for you to interrupt your meditation practice. My home is not far from here, and I know my parents would be happy for me to bring you your milk." Suchata was silent for a moment. Then he answered, "I am glad to accept your offer, but from time to time, I would also like you to go into the village to bed in order to meet the villager. I would like to meet your parents and all the children in the village as well." Suchata was very happy. She joined her band and bowed in gratitude. She thought that visiting her home and meeting her parents was wonderful. She knew too that bringing him food every day would be no hardship, and his family were one of the wealthiest in the village. She did not mention it to Suchata. She only understood that it more was important and that offering food to him was more beneficial than making a dozen offerings to the forest god. If Suchata's meditation deepened, she felt his love and understanding could help relieve more suffering in the world. Suchata bore now the desolate mountain where he had lived in the cave. Beginning today, I will not return there. The forest is cool and refreshing. The magnificent people tree which I saw and make the play of my practice. Tomorrow when you come with the food offering, please bring it there. Come, I will show you the spot. Suchata led Suchata around the river to the cool forest that bordered the other bank of the Nedradata River. He saw her the people tree under which he would immediately. Suchata admired his measured tongue and raised her head to gaze at the leafy branches which split out, like an enormous canopy. It was a kind of banyan tree with leaves shaped like hers with long broad thorns. The leaf were big as Suchata's hand. She listened to the bird cheaply, happily. Among the plants, it was a truly beautiful and refreshing spot. In fact, she had been to the tree before with her parents to make food offering to the forest food. "This is your new home, teacher." Suchata looked at Suchata with her round black eye. "I will visit you here every day." Suchata nodded. He walked Suchata back out the forest and said goodbye to her at the river bank. Then he returned along to the bipala tree. From that day on, Shuta brought right of charity to offer to the monk just before the sun began to get settled. Sometimes he also brought meal or concrete, one in a while so that would carry his begging bowl into the village. He met Shuta's father, the village chief, and her mother, who were wearing a beautiful yellow saree. Shuta introduced him to other children in the village and took him to the Bible so he could have his head and bird said. Shuta health recovered rapidly, and he told Shuta that his meditation practice were beginning to be good. Then came the day that Shuta met Safety. That day, Shuta had become early. She listened as Sita told her about Miss Safety the day before. She had just said that she wished to Miss Safety herself when he appeared. Afterward, whenever she met Safety, she never forgot to add about his family, she and her children. Buna even went to visit Safety her, but would have to work in Shuta's household with her. Radesha rather died of time from fever. On the visit, Shuta brought you clothes still full of good way for Safety family to you. And more to burn a surprise certainly baby bear made her arm afterwards she got Burna not to tell her parents that she had held an untouchable child. One day a number of children decided to go and visit there together. After the on of Safety family came, so they brought her girlfriend Balaguta, which is Ugu village and the Kana, she also visited her city year of cousin. Nandabala, who brought her younger brother Nalaka, who was 14, Supan, who was 9. 11 children sat in a semicircle around Sita and they ate lunch together in silence. Sati had instructed by Bala and Rupa beforehand how to eat with quiet dignity. Even by Bibi sitting on Sati's lap, ate without making a shell, her eye open wide. Safety brought a new earthful of breakfast for Sita. He had added his brain capacity. Also brought the boy to watch over Midrambu so that he could have learned with Sita. In the field, the sun lay, but within the forest, Sita and the children were reflected by the cold scent of the people tree. It left it pregnant over either wider and then a dozen home. The children said they fooled with one another, and Rupa and Benley basically enjoyed tapping with curry and fraction wine. Riding in Venus and season said, Sujata and Bagalaguta brought enough water for everyone to drink. So the heart overflowed with happiness. The atmosphere was still and quiet, yet alive with a great joy. On that day, Shuta requested that I told them the story of his life. The children listened and understood from the beginning to the end. Thank you for listening to me. Bye bye. See you later.